What's up, everybody? Okay, so can you guess what this is? This is Jamaican cocoa bread, and I made it from scratch with a bread machine, and it is absolutely delicious. And I'm going to show you guys how I made it step by step. So, check this out. And I'm going to tell you something real quick too before we get started. I can't eat bread that you get in the store anymore because it just really upsets my stomach and it bloats me. This bread here gives me no issues and it's absolutely delicious. So check it out. I'm going to show you how I made this step by step from start to finish, and I think you're going to love it. So give it a try. So follow along with me and let me know what you think. All right, guys, let's do it. All right, guys, so you have your bread maker here, as you can clearly see. I'll include the link to the bread maker. I use sea salt. That is melted butter, 1 stick. And we also have bread flour. I like bread flour as opposed to all-purpose flour. Sugar, 1 teaspoon. And I will include the instructions. That's 1 egg, as you can clearly see. But yes, the list of ingredients will be right there on screen. And you see the coconut milk here. And you also have 1 package of yeast. Now inside the bread maker is a bread pan, as you can see here, so you can take it out so you can add your ingredients. And you also have the measuring cup that is 1 cup. So you use that to measure your ingredients, and you also include a little spoon as well. All right, so let's get started. This is going to be part 1 of the ingredients. And here you can see I'm adding the coconut milk. There are many different brands of coconut milk. I just happen to pick this one. I don't have one that I choose in particular. And I'm just going to use 1 cup of coconut milk, as you can clearly see. I'm going to add it to the baking pan. Now, some ingredients or recipes, they want you to use some water and some milk. I just use pure coconut milk. All right, so up next we have the melted butter. This is 1 stick of unsweetened butter. And then I just, make sure it's nice and melted. And then I just add it to the coconut milk. Pretty simple. Up next is the sugar. And I only use 1 spoonful of sugar. And one thing I like about the homemade ingredients, you can use as much of sweets as you want, and for me I just use 1 heaping teaspoon, so it's not a lot of sugar, which I like. I prefer it that way. I mean, you need a little bit, but you can tailor to how you want yours to taste. Up next is your sea salt. Now I prefer sea salt over iodized salt. I rarely use the regular table salt anymore. Sea salt tastes the same, and from what I understand, it's a little better for you. So I use the sea salt. And as you can see, I didn't use a whole lot. I just threw some in there for the taste, of course. And you can tailor your recipe to how you want it to be. And up next is the egg, 1 egg, and we will continue on with the next slide with the egg. All right, so let's get started. All right, so here is the egg. I'm cracking the egg, and I like to scramble it as much as I can to get it, nice and scrambled for when it starts to combine in the bread machine. And I'm using the little cup that they gave us. This is a 1 cup measuring cup, and I'm using a knife just to scramble it up really good, get it nice and blended. And then when I do, I just pour it into the batter, as you can see here. And once it's poured in, then I just kind of mix it a little bit. You can see the coconut milk there. You can see the yellow, that's the butter. So getting it nice and blended. And there's one thing I forgot to tell you guys. You also want to make sure you have a bread cutter. When I first got this bread machine, I did not have this bread slicer, and that makes your life a whole lot easier. And I'll include the link to the bread slicer in the description as well. So let's now add the flour. All right, so up next, you add the flour, and you're going to add 3 heaping cups of the bread flour. Now, as I said, I prefer bread flour over all-purpose flour because it it rises better. That flour is made specifically for bread. Now you can use all-purpose flour, don't get me wrong, but once you use that bread flour, you'll see the difference and you'll taste the difference. So 3 cups of bread flour. And to top it off, I do like to use the spoon just to make sure I get the 3 exactly, because when you have these ingredients, they tell you want to have it exact so it comes out perfect. So that's the flour. Okay, so last but certainly not least is the yeast. You want to put the yeast in last, and I prefer to use instant yeast. And I don't have any particular brand that I prefer. I just use that one because it's right there at the store when I go. They have the little packet, the little 3 packets, and I just stock up on those. I do have yeast that I bought off Amazon too. I'll include the link to that also if you want to see that. So what I do is I make a little mound in the flour, and then I just pour it into the mound. Pretty simple. That's it. Nothing fancy. As you can see from these ingredients, you just add the ingredients, combine them in order, and then you're all set. You're ready to go. All right, guys. So we are now officially ready to bake. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the pan inside the bread maker. So you see, you kind of twist it on, then you just kind of pull it to make sure it's in there properly, and then you are ready. So now with cocoa bread, you have to make sure it's on the right setting. And these bread machines, they have like 16, 17 different settings, and you can see them there briefly. But the one that we want is sweet, number 3. Now that's what that is on this bread machine. I don't know how they are on others, but we want to put it on 3. And I just did there, as you can clearly see. Now look how long that takes, 3 hours and 45 minutes. So you can hit start and you can go about your day, do your thing. So we are now ready and it's all set up. Just hit start. And that's it. And then it's going to start doing what it does. It makes it so much easier for you. And as you can see, it is now moving. You can hear it a little bit in the background there. So you can see it's not that loud, but that's it. And it's going to do what it does. And that is it. That's all you have to do. And it's just going to work its magic. Okay, so now you can see 2 phases of baking. On the left, you can see it doing its thing, and it knows exactly what to do. I mean, it just amazes me how cool this machine is. And I can't begin to tell you how wonderful it starts to smell when it's baking. It is it's heavenly. It is unbelievable. And on the right, you can see it is officially ready. Now, what you can also do is you can make it the setting a little darker, so the bread is a little darker if you want. But this is how we like it. But as you can see, it is clearly ready. And we are now about to cut this bread or slice it up. All right. So my lovely assistant, who just happens to be my wife, she is going to slice the bread. I can't slice bread to save my life. I've tried, and I just don't have the patience for it. But she is going to demonstrate how easy it is. Don't ask me why I can't do it. Maybe I just don't want to do it. I don't know. But anyway, I strongly suggest you get a bread slicer. That thing is fantastic, and you'll clearly see now. Now, what we do in our house is we let it cool first, because that thing is hot. I mean, it's fresh out the machine, and it is hot. So you want to just give it time to cool, And then she is clearly demonstrating how easy it is. Now, if you go to the restaurant and you get cocoa bread, you know it's not in a slice, it's folded. Because I think what they do is they do it the old-fashioned way, which is they bake it. And we just use the bread maker, so it comes out in a loaf. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it tastes just like when you go to a restaurant. I mean, it's uncanny. You cannot tell them apart, and I am not exaggerating. So I'm fine with the slices. And here you can clearly see what she is doing. She is just slicing it right down the slicer. And do you see how soft and fluffy that bread is? Can you see that? So it is just as delicious as it is fluffy. It is, I can't explain it. And so I personally believe everyone should have a bread maker because, as I said in the beginning, I can't eat commercial bread anymore. It is just, it's not good for my stomach. I get bloated. It just feels really uncomfortable. But I can eat this bread here and have zero issues. Zero issues. Now take a look at that. That is absolutely delicious. And the funny part is, if you notice, towards the end, she starts to make the slices thicker because she likes the big glacier pieces of bread. It's like a joke in our family. So I think she does that on purpose because then she keeps those big pieces for herself. But just take a look at that. Look at how fluffy and soft those are. So just imagine how good they smell, and then just imagine how they literally melt in your mouth. It is absolutely fantastic, and I can't stress this enough, y'all. You really want to get um, you really want to get that bread maker, and it's a lot cheaper in the long term because you remember with cocoa bread you're adding a little bit more ingredients, but you can literally make this at home, and it's much better for you than what they do in the store because that store-bought bread, they have a lot of preservatives in there and all types of different things that are just not good for you. So here you are, guys. Check it out and please get one. You'll be so glad you did. I just am happy with mine. You know what? I'll tell you a little secret. We so happy with our bread maker, we bought an extra one because if this one breaks, we got to make sure we can keep making our bread. All right, y'all, that's it. So as you can see, I'm getting a slice of this bread. You can see it's so soft and just delicious. I'm eating some baked chicken with some black beans and brown rice and my delicious cocoa bread. And I'm about to chow down. And all of it was absolutely delicious. So yes, get your bread maker, please. Invest in a bread maker. I'm going to include the link to the one I have in this description box. And buy you some flour, buy you some yeast, sugar, oil, and bread flour or all-purpose flour, and get you some wheat flour too. Those are the key ingredients you're going to need to make bread. If you want to make cocoa bread, you'll need, your eggs, your butter, and coconut milk. But in actuality, all you really need is water, flour, yeast, sugar, a little bit of oil, and you can make your own bread. And when I tell you it is delicious and it won't give you those stomach issues that we see in commercial bread, I'm telling the truth. And you'll be so glad you did. All right, guys, thanks for viewing. Let me know what you guys think. And if you have any other ingredients that you use, let me know because I'm all about trying to find something new. But let me tell you, this is where it's at, y'all. Okay, peace out.